Following newborn hearing testing, approximately 6 moms and dads out of every 1,000 infants born in El Paso must deal with the news that their child has been diagnosed with hearing loss. The incidence of hearing loss in El Paso is double the national average.
So when you have a child that has a hearing loss and it goes unmanaged and they don't receive the intervention they need, they then don't receive that input that they need to learn language, and thus they don't have communication. And when you don't have communication, you are not isolated or connected with people. And when I think about what's most important to me and what's near and dear to my heart, and if I were to ask you what's most important to you and what's near and dear to your heart, I would venture to say, because I know it's my answer, that your most important things in your life are your relationships. Your relationships with God, your relationships with your family, your relationships with your friends. And how do you have those relationships? You have those relationships because you've communicated with your family, with your friends.
In Voz Alta actually means in a loud voice. And it started out as a grassroots movement of parents who were seeking a voice to be heard for their children's needs.
A network of families that come together, as well as professionals in the community, and we join together to try to really support each other.
My name is Kanika Lopez, and I went to Baja. You want to hear it? Oops.
Beside your face.
It's been amazing, the process that I've seen evolve for in Voz Alta, because we now have the capability of introducing them to another parent that has a child that maybe they're getting a Baja like their child's getting, or they're getting a cochlear like their child's getting, or even that hearing aid. It's that reassurance from somebody else that you're not by yourself.
In Voz Alta offers education and support by providing parent and family support groups, parent-to-parent contact, professional-to-parent contact, child-to-child contact, local conferences on pediatric hearing loss, educational resources, written resources, and financial assistance.
So when we give that child the ability to hear language, hear communication, and even hear sounds around them for the purpose of safety, that child then is more connected. So in Voz Alta's purpose is to provide those hearing aids for those children in need so they can make those connections, so they can have communication.
Magnolia Ash is 18 months old. When she was born, she failed her newborn hearing test.
All the nurses were like, oh, don't worry about it. You know, it could be fluids, it could be, you know, clogging from birth. So when she failed, it was just complete and utter shock.
Magnolia was fortunate. She received cochlear implants, a surgically implanted electronic device that provides a sense of sound.
The computer sits right there on the back of their ear in that little processor that looks like a hearing aid. The only difference is they have something that's been surgically implanted into the cochlea, because the cochlea is not working for them. And they have that coil that sits on the outside portion of their skull.
Where's Moo?
Good job!
It's wonderful. The first time that we actually saw great improvement, we were doing an evaluation where I would sit on one side of the room, Mary was on the other, and I had Magnolia in my lap, and Mary would have 2 toys. And I would have to whisper in Magnolia's ear without like having my hands tied behind my back, not making any gestures, but tell her like, go get the ice cream. And every single time she went. Without looking back at me to read my lips, she automatically went to it. And I broke down crying because it's one of those things that I can't wait for the day that she says, Mommy, I love you.
In 2010, in Voz Alta came under the 501c3 umbrella of University Medical Center Foundation. Through your donation and support of events like this, in Voz Alta can offer outreach and the donation of hearing aids for qualifying patients. You can make a difference by changing the lives of hearing impaired children.
One of the aspects that's so special about the group is that every single member is a full-time employee somewhere else. We do not work for Voz Alta in the fact that we don't get paid by Voz Alta. All of what we do for Voz Alta is pro bono. We all serve in Voz Alta on the weekend and at night on our own time after we've worked a long 40-hour work week. And I think that says a lot about these individuals in terms of how committed they are to children with hearing loss in the El Paso community. And Voz Alta relies on your help and support. We make sure every bit of the monies go to serve the children. All the volunteers who serve in Voz Alta do not command a paycheck. We also provide that service as well. So your money stays here in El Paso and it serves the children here in El Paso.